When Hunter x Hunter ended its 148 episode long run in 2014, it was met with widespread critical acclaim. Many praised it for its three-dimensional characters, deep and immersive world, and its darker take on common shonen tropes. Some have even gone as far as to proclaim Hunter x Hunter as the greatest shonen of all time. And while I do agree that it was done very well and offered a fresh take on cliché tropes, I still believe it also has far too many flaws for it to be considered anywhere near a masterpiece. From the very beginning of the series, we are presented with one of the most significant and long-running problems that follow Hunter x Hunter. The way in which the show handles its separation into arcs is extremely haphazard in terms of tone, quality, and pace. Some arcs will race by at breakneck speeds, only to be immediately followed by an arc that doesn't set things into motion until the halfway point. There is also inconsistency within the arcs themselves. What may start as an extremely dark and disturbing story will be interrupted by random bouts of filler-like fun episodes. This and other pacing issues prevent Hunter x Hunter from becoming a cohesive experience. Instead, we are given a jarring adventure across a field of random ideas, poorly strung together. Nowadays, many shows take a while to become consistent and usually require some developmental episodes before reaching their full potential. However, with Hunter x Hunter, the established tone and pace are reset after each arc, sometimes even in the middle of one. It's hard to get behind a series that continues to second-guess its ultimate goals arc after arc. The worst offender of this has to be the Chimera Ant arc, which runs for a total of 76 episodes and takes a solid 30 to begin becoming even remotely interesting or relevant. There are many other cases like this, where the problems of consistency in pacing, tone, and quality are exacerbated from being slightly annoying to downright terrible. It is inexcusable for a show that runs for 148 episodes to have an inconsistent mix of great and shitty moments within the arcs themselves. Exposition is a tough thing to get right in fiction, and it seems especially so in anime. First, you have to unload a ton of information while also attempting to retain the attention of the viewer. The problem with the exposition in Hunter x Hunter is that it simultaneously takes viewers out of the experience whilst also slowing down the pace of the story to a grinding halt. Hunter x Hunter dumps its exposition onto the viewer through a third-party omniscient narrator, which would normally be a fairly decent way to go about this. However, the Hunter x Hunter narrator will single-handedly derail all of the momentum and suspense of a scene by pausing the action to slowly and emotionlessly explain to us exactly what was going on. This absolutely ruins the ability of the characters to explore the situation for themselves. Not only does this erase the interest that comes with the ambiguity of a situation, but it also reduces some of the most exciting and intense scenes of the series into nothing more than boring exposition dumps. This is perfectly illustrated during the Chimera Ant arc, when the mysterious chairman of the Hunter Association finally joins the battle and is about to unleash his hidden power. Then, suddenly, our friend, the third-party narrator, comes in and explains to us in frighteningly specific detail how the chairman obtained these powers and what they are capable of. It is only after this long and drawn-out explanation that the scene is able to continue, now with less than half the impact it would have had if left for the viewers to experience directly. The narrator also has an annoying habit of stealing a character's moments to talk about their feelings, desires, plans, etc., and make the more heartfelt and vulnerable moments from the series rather impersonal and dull. Unfortunately, it is a lot harder to understand and relate to the characters when their own personal thoughts are ripped from their own minds and laid out like nutritional facts on the back of a cereal box. I find it odd that the Chimera Ant arc is considered the best arc in the series, as it seems to be the culmination of all of Hunter x Hunter's main problems. The arc begins with main protagonist Gon reuniting with his father's long-lost friend, Kite. Because of Gon's yearning to find his absent father, he promises Kite to help investigate the mysterious and dangerous Chimera Ants. This entire arc could function as a beginning to another show, and it takes quite a while to get going. Even when Kite is killed fairly early on, our time is then wasted with a mini training arc where the characters do nothing but try to become stronger in typical shonen fashion. When Gon finally comes face to face with Kite's killer in episode 131, What little development occurs in the arc is thrown out the window with a poorly done Deus Ex Machina. Gon uses his anger over Kite's death as the classic Super Saiyan power-up that comes from absolutely nowhere to defeat the killer. This is an extremely lazy way for the show to deal with Gon's personal arc. They later explain that this dangerous way to power up is in fact possible, but would likely shorten your lifespan significantly. If this ability had always existed, it's hard to believe that Kurapika, a character whose entire clan had been brutally murdered, wouldn't have tapped into this power himself and used it 2 arcs earlier when facing the organization responsible for his pain. But this exclusive power had been solely utilized by our main hero in, once again, stereotypical shonen behavior. Instead of giving the main character a proper character arc, we are instead treated to a cliché and uninteresting build-up to Gon claiming vengeance over the death of a character that is an utter stranger to not only the audience, but to Gon as well. The rest of the character development in the Chimera Ant arc is treated just as lazily. During the final showdown of the arc, we are treated to an all-out war between the Hunters and the Chimera Ants, in which several of the antagonists change drastically as characters. While it is noteworthy that the author was able to cram some sort of character development into such a short span of time, because of the speed at which some of the antagonists change their ideals, we're talking hundredths of a second here, it becomes unbelievable that such imposing and dominative minds would shift their beliefs so easily. And while the showdown does bring greatly needed fast-paced action and intensity to what had been a very long and boring arc, it still fails to fully develop any of its characters. For all its length, the arc, and to some extent the show itself, never really accomplished anything. Gon was no closer to reaching his ultimate goal, none of the characters introduced stick around, and the conflict eventually fades away. Hunter x Hunter feebly justifies its meandering plot by continually preaching that the destination is ultimately not as important as the journey itself. If that is the case, the creators have failed to understand their own lesson, because the journey itself is truly disappointing.
If you liked my video, make sure to give it a like and leave a comment on how you felt about Hunter x Hunter. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe to my channel.